I was thinking about where we were at last year, this time of the year last year, was that right before the pandemic happened, right before our human lives had to be reshaped, we had to take stock of our human lives. Right before that happened, we were dealing with experiences of natural disasters around the globe. And I was just remembering it, and I felt so humbled to be reminded that right before the pandemic hit us, or right before the pandemic landed on our laps, the world was literally burning and flooding. And somehow the pause that happened allowed some form of restoration for the body of the earth, for the ecological body of the earth, to find some kind of balance, hopefully. And there, I know for a fact that there is some anxiety within me in terms of like watching the world, so much of the world still in the status quo mentality, watching them get really excited about, you know, going back out there again and like allowing for the momentum to kind of like become more familiar, be a more familiar type of momentum. And there's an anxiety for me in how, like, you know, the systems that were running, that were in place before the pandemic, a lot of that wasn't working for the world, not for us, not for our inner worlds. And a lot of people are excited to go back to what is normal because the shock of having the pandemic, having lived through the pandemic, the shock of it when it landed, a lot of folks haven't fully processed that shock yet, haven't fully sat with that yet. So then when that happens, the mind starts to think that whatever was familiar before this thing happened is a thing that we can desire again. Like it's good because it's familiar. And we forget that before COVID happened, the world was burning. So that's just something that I've been observing in the collective field, something that I notice is also a reflection of my own anxiety, in terms of moving on, in terms of processing the shocks of my own life and how the pandemic mirrored some of the shocks from my past experiences with trauma and having your timeline snatched away so suddenly by an event outside of your control. So all changes is a call for us to transform. All changes is a call for us to get to know something unknown, mysterious, and new within us. And it's through getting to know whatever it is that's new inside that is going to help build the resilience to navigate the newness outside. When I say resilience here, I don't mean resilience as in soldiering through a discomfort. I mean the resilience of sitting with it and being patient with yourself as you receive the calls, you receive the inspiration to move through the changing tides while being profoundly present with your heart.